All right, it's book club time. I have captions. Let me put those on because it reminded me, because it's actually really good at that. Oh, there they are. I'm like, where did I put them? I put them on a pinned tab, which I never pin any tabs, but I'm like, this would make sense to be a pinned thing. So I did it. I need an extra coaster for this. That coaster literally just has like salt and pepper on it, which really doesn't need a coaster. So do that instead. Is this working? Load, please. I don't know how pin tabs work in Chrome. Do they fucking work? It's like frozen or something? No, what's it doing? What is it doing? Oh, it's just taking a sweet time. There we go. It's loading now. Okay, I made jasmine, vanilla, orchid, almond, green tea. And I'm really excited because it should be delicious. And then I also put like 1 or 2 leaves of like the smoky tea in, just because I thought that would give it a bit of depth. Because normally with vanilla, jasmine, like amber is really good, and amber kind of has that depth. So I'm like, I don't know, in a tea form, in a flavor form instead of a scent form, what it will be like. But I'm excited. I'm gonna try it. Is the mic? Oh, there it is working. Okay, sorry, it's just stalling out on me. And oh, that's not right. No, it's still not working. That's weird. Why? Dude, how did pin tabs work in Chrome? Oh, suddenly it appeared. All right. Okay, there we go. Start captions. Okay, I think it's working. Okay. Is it recording anything? Maybe I should have restarted this computer before I started. I've been using it for like a bunch of stuff today. Okay, no, I think we're doing all right. I'll restart it after the stream though. Okay, we've got captions, we'll make that mini and put it down here. And there's the stream. Perfect. Okay. I think it keeps freezing on me. That's weird. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, I just want to be able to see what's happening. I guess that's good enough. All right, so this is going to be just book club tonight. It should have been yesterday, but I don't normally have Tuesdays off, and because I had Tuesday off this week, I kind of like it just, I didn't think last night to check that I might have something to do, because normally I'd check that when I was getting ready for work, or like preparing for work the next day kind of thing. But yeah, this book is really long, so I've only half finished it, so we'll be doing part 2 next month. But I have enough notes already, definitely, that it's worth doing. It's not like, oh, I don't have enough material to stretch over 2 months. Yeah, I do. It's like I have tons of notes on this thing. And this book was really interesting because I was a little worried it was going to be too fluffy at first, and like I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be worth anything. I'll just stop reading it after a while because it won't be useful information. But then I kind of got into it, and it's a lot of really good information. So I'm actually quite pleased I kept reading it because now I'm going to finish it. And it's not a quick one, but it's a good one. My tea is still very, very warm. Okay. I'm just checking that everything's working. I think it is. Oh, what about this guy? Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to dive in. So we had, also, if you're hanging out and you have been reading anything, let me know what you've been reading, what you've been liking or not liking or learning about or any of it. All right, so Business Secrets by Russell Brunson is kind of like a very encompassing kind of primer, basically kind of starting from the basics, which is why I thought it was a little bit fluffy at first, and then moving into detail once it gets going, which is actually, it's really funny because the book is about like frameworks and how to use frameworks to sell and all that kind of stuff, but like what he teaches in the framework is exactly how he laid out the book. So, I mean, practice what you preach, right? But, you know, kind of start broad and gradually work down into detail as people are more and more comfortable with the ideas. So, okay, yeah, it's like he's doing what he's telling you to do. So that's always a good sign if they believe in it and understand how to use it for themselves. So we've got basically a lot of stuff about understanding why people buy anything, which is basically the secret of, you know, like sales and business in general. It's about considering what the results are that someone is looking for. And again, framework. So starting right off with the framework. Yeah, so going through, I think he even said at one point, like the book, the table of the contents is the framework, and then you go through in detail. So you cover everything in the introduction briefly, and then dive into the details. Same thing if you're selling a course, if you're writing a information book, if you're putting together a masterclass, or just trying to teach someone something. Start with the broad overview, dive in. So I mean, the hook story offer, that's you know, that's been done a million different ways. Hook, grab attention, story or content, the meat of whatever it is you're talking about. And then the offer is like your call to action, kind of the actual chance for someone to interact and take the next step. So he goes through a lot of stuff on how to create content. One of the things he says is, and I feel like this works well with what I've been doing, which is document, don't create. Don't worry about creating a bunch of posts and content every day. Just document what it is you do every day. Like document the process, document behind the scenes, document what you're thinking, document how you're deciding, and then just make that your content, which is like, okay, I could do more of that. That would be great, because he's saying no one has time to create like 7 pieces of content every day. You can't post on every platform something new and unique if you have to come up with it, plan it, you know, record it, edit it. Whereas if all you have to do is record it, maybe edit it, you could probably get a lot more content out of every day. Dun, dun. Oh yeah, documenting the journey. Yeah, he did recommend 7 pieces of content, but like that kind of content, the where you're really just taking what you already have, what's already going on in your business, in your life, and using that. So we've got publishing daily, documenting the journey. Yeah, and starting even before you're an expert kind of thing, because even if you only know a little bit more than the average person, like, hey, that's more. Like, that's something you had to learn at some point, and the next person will have to learn too. Yeah, and I mean, the advice, again, about not worrying about offending someone, because if you're offending someone with what you're posting, like, they're not your audience, they're not your customer, they're not the person who you want to be listening to you anyways. You want someone who resonates with what you're saying. And if you're not offending anyone, you're probably not specific enough, because if you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. Okay, so this is where it starts actually getting into less fluffy stuff. So when you're trying to show someone something new, basically you're trying to give them a new way of doing something, a new change to their life. But people don't like change. People have tried change before and failed, so they don't want to try change again. Anything new is a hard sell. The one thing that he talks about later is about, you know, finding people who are already frustrated with what they currently have, because they want to change, they want something new. So to work with this, get over the kind of fear of change, the first point was justify their failures. They've tried to make a change before, they've tried to learn from other people, and it didn't work. So it's important to make it clear that your new opportunity is not like those old ones. It's not going to be the same type of failure again, so that they can be open to it instead of just thinking it's the same thing I've already tried. Allay their fears. You can't just tell someone to not be afraid and expect it to work. If you just think you've solved the problem, they just disappear on you. You want to make sure you're working with them, and the way to do that is to present evidence and support and stories. You want to make sure you're just giving them lots of different information so that they can see what the non-scary side of the new change is. Because they're going to be suspicious, so the next step is confirm their suspicions. They want change to be possible, but they're skeptical. So if you can confirm in story format, and he goes through a whole bunch of story type of marketing and writing later on in the book. In fact, I've actually just started getting to it. I'm in the second half of the book right now. So there's quite a bit of that coming up later. But he's definitely all about like storytelling and how to like structure stories and how to write and how to speak and talk about something in a story form. So I'm definitely on that train right now. I've been, you know, kind of working with that kind of marketing for a while now, so even though I'm not good at it. So he actually has some really practical tips for that coming up, but we're not at that stage yet. Tea is still too hot to drink. So he does say there's nothing like having our suspicions confirmed. We kind of want to get that I knew it feeling. So you want to confirm their suspicions and describe how you overcame it and how other people overcame it in a story form, because then they feel vindicated that yes, there's a reason they were suspicious in the first place, and B, oh, but here's why I don't have to be. Oh, and also, like, if you have a common enemy, if there is like a big bad in the field, if there's a product that everyone hates, if there's something that's really wrong with whatever the option they're using now is, call that out. Make it your common enemy. Work with them against it. Yeah, so the kind of little blurb structure that he gives is, here is my perfect webinar framework, my whatever step formula or system or process for this result. Share how you learned it, how you came across this, how you developed it, how you discovered it, who you learned it from. If you learned it from other like masters or experts in your field, that's really helpful to help other people understand why this thing is real, why this thing might help them. Because until they've seen that, any great information you share is worthless. They're not listening. Differentiate your strategy from your tactics. I've kind of seen that before in some of the stuff from Scrivs. Kind of strategy being your overall plan, whereas tactics are things like Instagram or live video or the little details, whereas your strategy is, you know, like content marketing through video, right? Oh, and then the health, wealth, and relationship. That's the dog squeaking her toy. The health, wealth, relationships kind of marketing triangle. Basically, most successful products fit into health, wealth, or relationships for their marketing. Like, that's what you market it based on. I've also seen that the fourth one there is status. You can kind of, if it really doesn't fit into any of those three, but it does fit into status, you can still, that'll still work. And status really is just, status is interesting because it's basically just belonging and tribe and identity. So you have two parts there. You have kind of, do I belong in this tribe? Do I feel like I have a community? And two, do I know what my purpose is? Do I know what my identity is? Because status can be both of those things. Because a lot of marketing kind of assumes that what it's selling is about is very visible to other people, but sometimes when you're selling something to someone, they're the only ones who's ever going to know they bought it, right? So it's just their own internal identity and feeling of belonging rather than showing it off. Oh, and it talks about trying to find people who are irrationally passionate in your market, or in the market you're looking for in a niche, because they're the ones who are going to be really excited about things. Talks about going through different niches. And it talks about how most big categories or long-term categories have someone who's dominating that market already, and everyone else fights over the scraps. So it's really hard to take over a market from someone who's already winning in it. That's really usually not possible unless there's a whole like societal shift as well. So basically what you want to do is create a new category and then dominate that category yourself. So try to choose a market to serve, choose a niche that's specific and doesn't already have someone who's basically already selling to that market. Figure out your dream customers, the diehard. Don't try to sell to the diehards who already have a category that they love. It's going to be really expensive to convince them away. It says if you've entered a feature war, like, well, ours has this and that one has that, well, this one's better because of this, like, you're wasting your time at this point. Like, they would need a major identity shift in order to switch to your product. So unless you're willing to go through that, which is time expensive and cost expensive, what's the point? The second group is satisfied people of a different product. These are the ones who really do care about the features, the price, the value, all the little details, like, is it going to save time? Is it going to take a long time to switch? Is it going to be something new I have to learn? They're fine with what they have, but they could be convinced if this one really does seem better. But the group you want to sell to is the frustrated. You want to find a niche that has people who are already upset about what's currently on offer and are desperate for something new. So this is obviously not the easiest thing to find, but once you find them, if you can convince them that what you have will work and that they trust you, then they're going to be the ones who really love your new product. One of the things he talks about was creating a new product that helps sell the established product. So the example is a cool example. He talks about someone who was thinking about the orange industry, and you're not going to take over the orange, whoever dominates the orange category. But what he did was create a product that complemented it. It was like an orange extractor, a juicer. This is, I think, when orange juice wasn't a thing yet. This is early, like 20th century, I think. And then dominated that market because the orange juicer market didn't exist before, but oranges were already dominated by a different producer. So basically seeing if you can find a side niche. Yeah, one of the things he mentioned was a lot of the products that don't make it, they're usually good products. There's nothing wrong with them. That's not the problem. The problem is they're not selling to the right people. They're not positioning in the market correctly. Yeah, understand the marketplace you want to enter so you can create your own category and be able to identify where your frustrated dream customers currently are. Like, that's something like I've struggled a lot with because obviously, like, I want to sell clothes. Like, there's a million clothes on the market and they're all pretty much the same, right? Like, they all just are things you wear. So to differentiate is pretty hard, and you have to end up starting to get into all this other territory where it's what else is associated with the clothes? So is it ethically made? Is it sustainable? All those sorts of things kind of start becoming the features to differentiate and be niched, but it gets really tricky in that particular market, I feel. I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm gonna try something. Oh, I'm so glad I have tea. My throat's sore. So he talks about the difference between improvement offers and what's the thing he called the other one? Like a new discovery offer. So basically, improvement offers are really hard to sell because people don't want something that's slightly better or anything. Either it didn't work or it did work and they're satisfied. If you have a new opportunity, on the other hand, then they want the change. If they only take an improvement offer, they have to admit that they were doing it wrong before and that they failed before and that now they can do it better. But if you have a whole new opportunity, they don't have to do that. They can just be like, oh, I'm trying this new change instead, this new thing that's entirely different. Oh, one of the little quotes he has is, if you can't be the cheapest, then you need to be the most expensive. Like, you better have enough value to be worth it if you can't be the cheapest. And talked again about kind of status, like, is what I'm considering, like, from a purchaser's perspective, is this going to increase my status or decrease it? Basically, like, is it going to help improve my life or make it worse? And obviously, people only buy things they think are going to improve. So the more status increases you can apply, the better. Also decrease the risk of failure. Some of that is things like guarantees, the option to like help them out more personalized service. Some people really like being the first one to discover something. So if you can tap into that kind of like early adopter market, that can be really great because early adopters also get really passionate about things and really want to promote them and talk about them and review them and all that stuff. So those can be really good for a market. So improvement offers sell through pain, whereas new opportunities sell away from the pain. So kind of an interesting way of thinking about it. If you just move on to something brand new, you don't have to worry about that pain of what you're currently doing. Fear of failure. When you provide a new opportunity, you're giving people a new dream to move toward. So instead of trying to convince people that their grass is green or that you can fix their grass and make it greener, an improvement offer, just let them come over to your side of the fence. Show them where your side of the fence is already greener. That's where they want to be. Understand what the customer is currently trying to use in order to get to the same result you're doing, and is it working? What's bad about it? He uses the phrase opportunity switch. Oh, I'm glad I have this tea. My throat is sore. I was going to record voiceovers tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Actually, at least my wrist is feeling a bit better. I've been like so careful not to use my wrist all day because it's been so sore. I mean, it was sore yesterday, and I did a whole bunch of business stuff yesterday, so I was on the computer just as much as I would have been if I was at work, and it was very sore. But it's a bit better now that it's I've kind of stopped using it for a couple hours. I mean, I'm still using my phone though, but it's like, I'll survive. Trying to move people from, so opportunity switch, I mentioned that earlier. Trying to move your dream customers from one niche or submarket to another. You don't need to create a whole new opportunity, just stack them. So if you've already got people who are interested in what you're doing, don't try to switch them to something else. Just add new opportunities in what they've already bought into. Which I think is really important for me because that's exactly the problem I have. It's like, oh, look at this. And it's like, what if also this entirely extra separate new thing? And it's like, no, just do something with what they already like. So, okay. Doesn't mean you can't do something new. It just has to be related. Fit it into the framework you've already established. And that's his whole deal about frameworks. So he's all about funnels, which I mean, online funnels are kind of big right now, so that makes sense. Basic online business strategy. He goes through a whole bunch about that. Oh, one of the things he talks about is having different stages, different levels, different ways to package the same result, the same opportunity in different ways. So people will spend more or less money for the exact same content, the framework, what you're selling, but packaged in different ways. So if you have an audio book, a podcast, if you have a book or a PDF, if you have a live content or a masterclass, if you have little quick quotes and snippets on Instagram or photographs, versus if you have a full like actual course like in person or a live workshop or conference, and getting all the way down to like one-on-one service where it's like you do it for them, but it's these different levels he goes through. Basically kind of a value ladder is what he says, moving from one form to another and changing the experience of how the customer consumes it. So the three general categories are do it yourself, just give them the information, do it with you, work with them and help them, or do it for you. You literally just do it for them. And so you can kind of see why the cost goes up as you keep going versus just giving them the information all the way to actually, they don't even have to learn it, you just do it for them. That's such a great noise, Sugar. I love that. Please continue doing that. Okay, so starting marketing kind of here. We've got like your initial pre-funnel content. This is your free marketing. This is all your social media, anything that people get and watch for free that also helps bring them in, gets their attention. This is your hooks. This is your Instagram, your YouTube, your podcast, blog posts, all that sort of stuff. I think I should move over here. I'm like running off the screen. Next level is also free but requires an email. This is like your opt-in, your lead magnet, some benefit, some information or service discount or whatever that you're giving to the person for the low price of just your email. But that requires a little bit of trust. People aren't going to give you their email if they don't think what you have is worth it. The next level after that is selling a book or kind of a course or a masterclass or just information, or like your actual product, like at this stage starting to sell a small product, something like that. David, I think you might have to take that away from her. David? Can you take the squeak toy away?
What?
Can you take the squeak toy away?
Oh, yeah.
It's very, very loud.
Sugar, come on. No, I can't take the ball away. It's her baby.
No, you must take it away. She can have it back later. I can give her a different toy. Didn't we just bring out some new toys? Some new exciting ones that aren't squeaky like that? Yeah, the swan is quiet. Wow. She did not chase that. Not even a little bit. She will if you just put the thing away. She'll get interested. So the point of the products in the category of like the book would be something that kind of positions you as an expert. You know what you're talking about, you have the information, or you have the product that's going to help them. After that, you get into the higher value content. So if you're a service or an information product, this is like your membership. If you're a product, this is kind of your full package, your actual, the full things you're actually doing, but not the top end yet. After that, they have the category listing of like online course. This is where you start getting into like high ticket items. This is where you're getting like big packages. You're getting a lot of detail. You're getting a lot of content. This is not just like a one little thing. This is something big or something with a lot going on inside of it. So this would be your top end package or a full course, something like that. After that, we start getting into things that are a little bit more live or in person, things like a seminar or a workshop. This could be in person or online, but like something where you're actually there answering questions. You're not just pretending to be live like those master classes. And then kind of after that, you start getting into levels like mastermind groups, like really small selective groups where you're actually helping them out kind of one-on-one. Moving right into actual one-on-one content where you're doing it, you're helping them, you're with them, and it's just trading your time for money. So that's why the pricing is high. It's a one-on-one service. And so if you give everyone the options in that framework, that value ladder, then they can choose which option is right for them. Like, do they value it being done for them more, or do they value doing it themselves more? But I really like the fact that the framework covered everything from like the free social media right up to kind of like top end packages, right? So like for a product business, that you start getting into more like customized kind of items, right, in that top end, versus like the regular range is just gonna be like your standard products that you sell, and then larger packages like full collections of those products, etc. Oh, it also talks about like if what you're really selling is kind of an information product, like a framework. Can you add physical products or byproducts that are helpful? Can you add like scripts or training videos? Can you add kind of contracts or things like that, things that help, like assets that help out? Yeah, it goes through how to brainstorm different types of products. Talks about trying to give 10 times as much value as you're asking in price. So make sure you have enough kind of items in your information, like in your sales marketing material, that it shows why what you're selling is worth. If you're asking $100, why it's worth $1,000. It should be 10 times the price, basically. One little anecdote that was interesting. They kind of analyzed all the slogans of presidential candidates, and the ones who won typically presented a new opportunity, while the ones who lost were generally offering improvement. So being able to create a vision of a new future was what got candidates elected. Ooh, also creating a tribe, trying to make it a community, which is, I've been kind of trying to do that here on Twitch, but I think I'm going to kind of lean more into that. I want to do things like kind of like maybe have like some sort of like badge or award or ribbon or something, like if you've been co-working for a week straight or something like that. I don't know. If you're completing your goals, you can like win a thing. And I don't know, I don't really know, because I've kind of been wavering around like co-working community or like some other things like that, but I'm not really sure what to call the community. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know, because I really feel like I need a better, like obviously Natasha Tuskovich Designs is really more of my other brand, and then the YouTube channel I think is just called Natasha Tuskovich Co-working right now, but it was originally called Co-working Community or something, but like it's also not a unique name, like that already exists on other channels and stuff. So I feel like I need something a little bit more unique and interesting, but together. So coming up with an identity shift for your tribe to make them want to belong and identify. You want an I am statement. His examples were I am a funnel hacker. You can create t-shirts, give people products where because the people who actually do adopt that mentality, that tribe mentality, will want to wear the t-shirts. They will want to show off that they are a part of this. They will want to be that hardcore fan. creating a manifesto. Actually, this is a really good little tip here. It was to create a manifesto, put it into a poster, make it printable like a background or a phone background image. I thought that was really smart, just giving people like, you know, a manifesto that this is to remind them of what they're doing, what they've chosen, what their identity, you know, is all about, like what this new opportunity could bring for them. And next up it talks about milestones, which is the thing I was just talking about for this channel, kind of giving people some sort of like reminder and look forward to kind of, you know, what it is you're doing and achieving and how long you've been doing it for. This dog is looking for her ball. She's like running around looking for it. You're a little detective, aren't you? Aren't you? Come here. No, you know. She's backed away. She does not want to be picked up right now. She is in fight mode. She must squeeze the ball to death. Milestone awards, especially if your goals are big or amorphous, defining milestones is really important so that your audience can actually have a finish line, because if they're just seeking growth, it doesn't feel like they ever achieve it. Whereas if you give them milestones while they use your product or your framework, then they will actually feel like it's working. So yeah, I was thinking about different options to kind of do that for Twitch. I feel like there's like, I don't know, even if I just create like some images that you can like download and like, I don't know where people put images now, like put on your, I don't know, who has a profile anymore of anything. People don't even have like their own things anymore. It's so weird. The internet's a weird place right now. Put on your Instagram or something. Because I'm already doing the scorecard, so maybe if I made it something about like the scorecards, the weekly scorecards, which I haven't really done on stream lately, but maybe if I had a public kind of reward for other people, it would make sense to do it on stream. Initially, this should be something that you've already accomplished, so you can show them it's possible. Oh, and it talks about, this is something I definitely believe in, but haven't actually like constructed implementation for it, but like I want to be able to donate like a constant kind of percentage of profits to charity and stuff. Like what is the social transformation that you're also supporting of? Like what else did these people get to be involved in by being involved with you? What other good are they doing? Because that can 100% be the difference between someone being like, am I going to buy product A or product B? They're basically the same. Oh, well, product B also like donates a little bit to X, Y, and Z cause? Sure, that one. It can make a big difference. So that's something, but also it makes a difference in the world. Like that is giving back. That is giving to something good, and I think it's important to kind of incorporate that in as much of life as we can to really like share that generosity, share that kind of, to make sure we're thinking about other people at all times in community instead of just being like in silos. So I really like the concept of integrating that deeply into the business and making it a part of it. Like, hey, we also give back to X. Like, that's what we care about. And for me, I'm kind of trying to decide what I want to do with that. I have kind of the obvious choice is animals, right? Because I'm not going to be using like leather or animal silk or anything like that in the product, but I also don't want to start calling it like a vegan line or anything, because I do like wool. Like I have no problem with using wool. So like it's a very iffy thing, and creating, you know, making it about an animal charity, like instantly kind of, now I'm putting myself in a precarious position to get like not happy by vegans and stuff, and it's like, come on, I'm on your side, guys. So, but I'm not vegan, I'm just vegetarian, and it's like, so that's interesting. But there's lots of other options too. So I'm also a really big fan of charities that help with things like homelessness and that kind of thing. So one of the things, oh, actually I totally forgot, I haven't thought about it in a year, but I wrote it down in my notes, so I have it somewhere. One of the things I was really considering doing was, especially because I really like creating clothes that are kind of workwear appropriate, like things that are for people to wear to the office or wear to a business meeting, like to look classy and upscale and professional. So I was thinking about doing something kind of on the lines of helping people who need to get a job, maybe helping people who have come out of prison, like kind of like helping outfit people and support them in other ways than just clothes, obviously, for finding a job, for getting back into life. So I thought that was kind of maybe more appropriate and more would make sense, like more on brand, more working with the skills that actually are there, or the mindset and the atmosphere. So that's kind of on my back burner. Okay, goes into more detail about the hook story offer framework. Yeah, so the hook is grabbing the customer's attention. The story is showing the value of what you're selling, and the offer is what you're selling. So if you're not selling, something's wrong with one of those three categories. You want to share a story about how you learned or earned the framework before sharing it. So that way it increases the perceived value. It talks about why like old school traditional sales can feel really dirty. Basically, like if you're just using like copywriting tricks and sales tools and you're just like jam packing it with all this sort of pitching and opportunities, is that you're trying to sell someone on something. You're trying to convince them really hard, which is the wrong approach. People don't like that. Everyone's heard it before. What you want to do is create an emotion to cause action. You want to show people why what you're doing can get them the reward they want or the result they want, and that will create the emotion for them. Then they want to make a change. To get their buy-in, you have to lead them to the answer, but you can't give it to them. Which is kind of like the trick of sales, right? You plant the idea in their minds with a story, and if they come up with the answer, they will have sold themselves. And the trick is making that work. And it sounds easy, but I mean, obviously it's not that easy, or everyone would be doing it. And then it wouldn't work anymore, because everyone would be doing it, just like old school sales. Old school sales used to work until everyone did it. Then it became sleazy real fast. So the buying decision has to be theirs, not yours. When that happens, you don't even have to sell them anything. So you want a story that takes people through an emotional experience, the same emotional experience that got you excited about what you're selling. So what's the new opportunity you're presenting? And think about yourself before you knew about this. What was it that got you excited about the opportunity, like about what you're selling? So this is something I've got to kind of sit down and really spend some time working through. I've spent a little bit, like I've got some of these notes here are my own notes, but kind of figuring out how to make that work for fashion is something that's interesting for me, because I don't know, like everyone has to wear clothes all the time, and it's like, so why do some people choose particular clothes and why do I choose particular clothes? And it's like, okay, I'm gonna spend some time really thinking about that and figuring out what it was that kind of, like why do I want to design clothes? Why do I want to sell apparel? Why is that important to me? And I know it is important to me because it's a big part of my life. But I guess kind of coming up with a story about that and how it became that way. Because I remember, like, I've always been interested in, like, style and stuff. Like, I remember in middle school, kind of, starting to develop a unique style kind of thing. A bit different, right? Like, I was always in heels, even all the way through high school and middle school. But, not all the way through middle school. Grade 8. But then I grew up in a small town that wasn't, like, we didn't have, like, fashion culture. Like, I didn't understand designer fashion until, like, probably grade 11. I, like, literally didn't really get it. I understood brands. I knew what brands were, but I didn't really get, like, runway fashion. I didn't get what models did. I knew what catalog models were, but I didn't get what runway models really were. I didn't get that it was this huge, giant industry until, like, mid-high school, honestly. And so I probably got to kind of figure out, like, kind of mine my memory for more details about that and kind of how it kind of attracted me and what was of interest. And I'd always drawn clothes and like sketched out, you know, outfits and shoes and stuff. So kind of realizing that, you know, and I knew what a fashion designer was, of course, and that kind of stuff, but what that kind of you can't have it luxury market actually looks like and feels like, and what it does for people and why people care so much about it. I feel like there's some material there for me to work with, and kind of in order to connect with the other people who feel the same way I do, but like, do you know what I mean? It's not enough. You also have to be able to communicate it. Otherwise they don't get it. Like, they don't care that you also feel the same way and that you're selling something that will help them, you know, have more of that joy. Also, was there a guide you have? Because most epiphanies have help from a guide. That talks about, is there a person, or was it something, an event that happened that gave you inspiration or an idea? Kind of what was your big aha moment, your epiphany? Now he says this is the trap, because most people, once they've had that epiphany, they learn everything. They go deep into the subject, they geek out, they understand all the technical aspects and all the different things. And then once you know all of those logical aspects, you try to sell it to other people based on them. But it doesn't work that way. You can't sell it to people based on the logical proof. You have to sell it based on the emotional proof. And once you do, they'll go out and learn the logic themselves. So present that information, but it's not part of your sales. It's part of your like early funnel content or like mid funnel content. Logical stuff will not help people buy it unless they already have the emotional epiphany. It will just annoy them if you keep pestering them with logic, features, and benefits. Yeah. You have to convince them emotionally before they'll be excited by logic. People don't buy logically, they buy based on emotion. They only use logic to justify a purchase decision they've already made. So I think maybe there's the wrong word there. I think a purchase decision they already want. Like, they have to want it first, and then all the little details are just reasons for or against, right? Like, oh, is it the right price or is it too expensive? Is it, you know, is it going to fit or is it not going to fit? Is it going to be returnable if it doesn't fit, or is it, am I stuck with it even if I don't like it? Kind of all the little logic details are what helps convince someone to buy it after they already want it. But making them want it is the emotional attachment. Logic is just justification. Yeah, an emotional connection with a purchase. Yeah, they'll look for ways to, once you sell them on the emotional epiphany, they'll look for ways to logically justify the purchase and learn the technical details themselves. What made you believe in this opportunity that you're sharing? Why are you even sharing it? Kind of remember the details. You know, what is it you're sharing? And why do people ever buy this thing? So I went through a bunch of notes of my own kind of stuff there. And then he starts getting into effective storytelling stuff, and we're almost at the end for today. So this is where I knew this is my kind of person. Well, I mean, I'm already halfway through the book, but I love story structure. So he starts going through... so he starts going through story structure like Joseph Campbell and stuff. I forgot there's another bit first. He talks about trying to speak at a simple level. Like, you want to speak at a third grade level, because if you're talking to a general crowd at anything above that, as soon as you speak anything that they have to think to digest, you start losing people because they're not invested in what you're talking about. So they're just going to stop paying attention. Sounding sophisticated isn't going to help you connect with people because they don't know who you are. They're just trying to learn something or entertain themselves, right? So don't use big words and show off your vocabulary. Just tell a story. This is why news stations speak at this level. It also mentioned how presidential candidates Donald Trump averaged at a third to fourth grade level during his speeches, whereas other candidates spoke at a 9th, 10th, and 8th grade levels. Yeah, using big words may make you feel smarter, but it won't influence others. Oh, this was a really good tip. The kinda like bridge. If you need to teach anything or talk about anything that's past a 3rd grade level, you just say, it's kinda like, and then explain it to something they already know. Basically, at any point when someone doesn't understand what a word means, they stop paying attention to anything you say afterward. They don't even realize they do, but basically their brain goes, wait, what was that? And then they're thinking about that and they're not listening to you anymore. And then even if they like give up on it, they're still kind of distracted. So anything that people might not understand, it's kind of like, and then explain. Which I thought was such a good tip, especially if you're in like kind of a technical, complicated industry, which I'm not really, but it's also just useful for everything. I'm also always looking for ways to make more natural kind of sounding speech into my writing, because I'm used to writing really like professionally, really technically correct, really academically, all that kind of stuff. And so it comes across when I'm trying to write like stuff for my website where it's like way too formal, and I'm like, and everyone's like, just be yourself, just be authentic, just, you know, write the way you talk. And I'm like, this is the way I talk. And it's like, it's not. I do talk more casually than I write, but like I don't know how to capture that in writing. So kind of like is perfect, because I totally say it's kind of like, but I would never think to put that down on the page. So we talked through a couple like example stories, being like how you can make a story really interesting and really engaging, or really boring and like throwaway. Oh, and he gave some really like, honestly, this kind of tips were basically stuff I want to use in the writing stream next week. It was stuff like literally how to like write a short story, kind of like a scene, using the tips, like describe the setting, talk about how it looks, how it feels, go into how the character feels. And he gave an example with like one sentence for each of these things, and it created a little scene, and it was really good. You know, explain what's happening, explain how the person feels in response and what they do. And it's like, okay, yeah, like all these little things. And he gave an example scene, and you feel like you're in the room. And by the time you get to the part where he started talking about, you know, the issue, what's happening, it's like, oh yeah, you're invested. So that's kind of like a really actionable tip. I'm really excited to kind of use that to write my next whatever marketing thing I write. I always think I'm going to write like a marketing story, but then I never do, because I'm like, I don't know, I'll just like babble about the features. It's like, okay, well, it takes a lot of work and effort to do this, right? But when you do it, it works. And I just published new stuff on my website. I have custom illustrations now. So if it can be for anything, but mostly like brides really like getting custom illustrations of them in their wedding dress. You can also get it for your bridesmaids, you and your fiance, all that. I posted getting a custom dress, so you can get a consult for $50. You can get a dress design and a dress made for you for $500 and $1,000, and that's published now. So I should really make sure the marketing copy on those pages is good, because no one's going to pay, you know, that much money for anything if they don't believe in it. And so I gotta spend some time actually putting some copy on there. But yeah, the wedding illustration one I think is something that could actually sell, because that's definitely a market. Like I've seen a bunch of people who are maybe not even that great of illustrators selling and having a whole business around doing wedding illustrations. So I feel like it could definitely compete in that market. It's not something I want to like dive head into, but I think it would be a good little side stream. So I've got that going now. I've got that posted now, so we'll see if it sells. But we're gonna advertise it on Instagram a little bit, so I should start working these tips and tricks in. Yeah. Now we're into Joseph Campbell, Hero with 1,000 Faces. and the 17 stage story structure, the hero's adventure. So he goes through those stages, and then he talks about kind of how you can kind of condense it. He talks about one such condensation is Christopher Vogler. The writer's journey, he condensed it into 12 points, just to kind of simplify it. And I've seen a lot of other story structures with different numbers of points in different stages, right? And I have my own one that I actually use for my own writing, which is really useful, so I'll just use that one because it's really, I like that one. Actually, I should post that. I don't think I posted it on the Discord. I guess I should post that. Where's my little notebook? Do I have a notebook? I don't. Actually, I do, but I don't have a pen. My pens are all over there, so I'll try to remember that later. Okay, so that's as far as I've gotten in the book. Okay, so I guess I should just get up and get a pen. Write it down. And then I will post my own story structure to the Discord. If I haven't yet, I feel like I haven't. I feel like I would remember if I had. So let me write down a note for myself. Oh, but also, one of the things I've been working on and that I spent a lot of time working on yesterday was coming up with a business map for especially to get investors. So basically a business plan, but like a roadmap of kind of where the business is going, what the stages are, what stages have already been completed, what's next up, and kind of so people can get some idea of, and this goes for investors and just audience, right? Because people get invested when they can see where something's going and they like that destination. They don't have to, you know what I mean? As long as they can see where you're headed, people can get interested and invested. So I'm gonna make a little graphic for that and then publish that at some point. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where I say I'm going to do it and then it's like I'll do it myself, but I'll never publish it. But the point is to publish it because other people want to see where you're going, what your plans are. So that helps build that trust and that, you know, commitment and all that stuff. So, okay, what do I need to do first? I need to write down post story structure. Okay, I wrote it down now. But so I've got kind of a little brief roadmap. I haven't really filled out all the details yet or like filled in all the stages. But so we've kind of been through like the vision, research, and planning stage. Pre-marketing was getting like the social media set up, and then the website stage, getting the website up and running with things selling for real. And then starting to get into kind of, we're in the kind of factory research stage right now. And then after that goes into, I've actually already done the first sample stage, which is me making the sample and the patterns myself. We're going to go into real factories next after that. So there's a bit of fundraising before that because you need money for the pattern draft, like, because I can draft the patterns, but I don't have the programs to make digital patterns are like insanely expensive. Plus there's, you know, I could learn how to do it, but I don't want to spend 6 months of my time learning how to draft digital patterns. I don't want to be a pattern maker. I want to run a business. So I'll just hire a pattern maker. But obviously that costs money to hire a decent one. The exciting part is if you get the right pattern maker and the right program, those files can be used to turn into a digital dress as well, which is what I want to do with NFTs. So that's a whole, I should add that to my business map actually. I can't believe I didn't even think about that. NFT. I knew there was something I was missing. I knew there was like a whole extra category of things, and I thought it was kind of my other businesses, like the art business or the illustrations or all the other stuff, like the books or the planners or something, but it's not. It's NFTs, which are directly related. So I'm like, I don't really need to include that stuff. It's just like side stuff. I put one note in here, like passive income products, but that's not important. What's important is the digital products, because the NFTs are also part of the fundraising plan, because you can use NFTs to fundraise for small business or large business or whatever. So that's going to be something I'm researching more in the future, and I'm going to be talking about more. I actually I wanted to do a kind of interview chat stream with a couple people in the Twitch community who are into NFTs. So I'm going to try to be making that happen in the next week or two. And then I want to do next quarter. So it's not, next quarter for me is going to be after the end of April, because I kind of started my 12-week system not on January 1st. It was like near the end of January, so I'm not on the exact same quarter system, but it basically works out into quarters. It's a 12-week system. But combined marketing is my goal for next quarter, the next 12 weeks. So it's going to be things like workshops, group workshops. It's going to be things like workshop days. It's going to be things like interviews. All that sort of stuff is coming up next. Actually, I put that in my marketing group marketing, workshops. See, now this is business stream. Workshop days, interviews, yeah, etc., etc. Basically collaborative type content. So NFTs are going to be build community, and then that leads into fundraising. Okay, what else were we talking about? The actual roadmap, I don't think I finished going through it. So we talked about how we were at the kind of sample stage, the factory stage. After that is the actual crowdfunding stage to raise kind of a lot more money, like 100,000 to kind of 250,000, 300,000. Oh my god, I actually did the the calculated conversion for how much 250,000 American is in Canadian, and like it's like a 25% markup right now. So like if you have $100,000, you need $125,000 in Canadian, which $25,000 is like a whole. That's like a big investment, right? Like that's not. Oh, you can't just brush that aside. So yeah, I have to really be careful that I'm not planning for something in American and only fundraising in Canadian. So I gotta be careful about that. But yeah, now I've looked it up, so my brain will remember that it's like, oh really? You need more like 300,000 if you want to do this package, and you need more like 125 if you want to do like the really minimal version. So fundraising, crowdfunding, marketing agency, launch for real. So that's the brief roadmap. I'm going to be publishing a visual version of this at some point. Look out for it. Check out the Discord. Oh, I didn't post the Discord link this time in chat, but check out the Discord if you enjoyed. If you enjoy talking about books, if you enjoy talking about reading, if you have anything you want to talk about and you read lately, let me know right now and we'll talk about it. If you read any good books lately or you're going to. And then post it right on the Discord as well. What else? We have co-working coming up tomorrow. That'll be regular co-working stream. So I haven't checked if I have any work assigned yet. I assume I do. I assume I will have some by tomorrow morning. And then what else? Okay, so I missed art club last week and design club, and I think I don't know. I missed design club the week before, and art club was kind of iffy. So we're gonna do back on schedule this week. Art club on Wednesday, that's tomorrow. Design club on Thursday, that's the day after. Friday, business club. Saturday, nothing, maybe co-working. Sunday, planning club. So we're gonna try to actually get all the little things that I put on the schedule that I want to be doing happening this week. Especially art. Yeah, because I really want to get to doing some alcohol ink and resin work. I need like a full evening to do those things because they take a bit of setup and tear down, especially resin. Although the weather's getting nicer, so resin is something I kind of don't want to do until the weather's nice because you kind of want to do it outside so you don't die. So I'll probably, honestly, it's not like I have to say, oh, I'll hold off on that. It'll probably be fall before I'm ready to do it. Just knowing me. But that's okay because it's a hobby. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, we're gonna go. I guess we're gonna raid someone, aren't we? So I better find someone to raid. Yeah. Let me see who's doing a what. If anyone has any recommendations, let me know. We'll find someone. Anyone who's doing writing or reading or anything like that. No, we're not updating right now. Jesus Christ. What have we got? We got a bunch of artists today. We have a lot of artists today, actually. So I've added more artists lately. Let's see if we can search for books, maybe. Nope. Reading? writing, I guess, is what we need. I don't want something live though. I don't want an old video. No one's writing right now, hey? There's gotta be someone. It's just not. There's no way. Okay, I need to not do this on my phone because I can't figure it out, I guess. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, I got tea. Oh, I got some like raspberry rose cider or raspberry watermelon cider. It's not cider though, it's like spritzer or something. Anyways, they had it last summer in cider form and now it's in spritzer form. So I'm excited because it was really good in cider form. Hope it's good in spritzer form. Raspberry and watermelon are two of my favorite flavors, so. Oh, that's so funny. I have like my Joseph Campbell right there. I was just talking about it. There we go. All right, now it's working. Oh yeah, my wrist is getting sore just from like doing that for a minute. Oh god, I have to be so careful with it. The categories Twitch has are an absolute, like, disaster. They're so poorly distributed based on, like, content and interest. Silly gamers, don't you know your platform is used for other things now? Best kind of sandwich food. It was like leftovers from the Capri salad I made yesterday. We had this focaccia bread. It's so good, like soft and fresh with like olive oil and balsamic, and then we made a balsamic reduction with fresh mozzarella and basil leaves and little tomatoes. Oh my god, it was so good. And then so regular Capri salad last night. Today I put it all together. I put like a piece of focaccia with I put it to kind of toast in a pan. Then I put like, you know, oil and balsamic on it. Then I put the mozzarella, the tomatoes, the basil on it and heated it up so that the cheese started to melt. Like I put the cheese on the pan and then put it on the thing. Oh my god, it was so good with some of the reduction on top. It was amazing. Okay, what have I got? Oh, I've got a book launch on one of these. That sounds cool. Got a write-in. Let's check out some of these. Oh, that one's a stream ending soon, so that's probably not the one for us. Oh, this one's Camp NaNoWriMo, but I think they're just playing Sims. It says creating characters though. Oh, one of these people is writing for D&D. Oh, one of these persons is like a reader response. Okay, we got some stuff here. We'll find one of these people. All right. Okay, what are we at here? We're at 10 p.m. It's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Ah, oh, and I got a lot done today and a lot done yesterday, and I got a bit more things I'm gonna do today. Go make a drink. Oh my god, also I finished my gay pirate show, Our Flag Means Death. And I still highly, highly recommend it. Although it had such a cliffhanger ending, like, I need season 2, like, now. So, yeah, if that could just go ahead and exist, that would be great. Here, you can do it. Oh god, it's probably killing the stream too. No, stream's still going fine. Alright, good. Oh, my hair is doing lately. Get a haircut. Keep saying that. Alright, we're gonna stop the captions so that can stop draining my computer because it's going way too slow and I can't spend forever just trying to finish the stream. I should have just gotten up and gone to the other computer, but I didn't, so it is loading slowly. So we're gonna go raid Usurper Kings. Let's make that happen. Oh yeah, I changed. There we go. Yeah, definitely. Alright, that's the one. Would I like notifications? Never. Alright. Okay, off we go. Read has been created. This will be add whatever emojis you like. We're gonna do book club raid. Easy. I say that as my computer doesn't want to do it. Emojis here, it's not gonna work. Bye, everyone.